residence permit expires in December or early January. This is basically, or this week is basically your last chance to do something about that, because then the ministry will be basically closed. So today I will take you through the opening hours of the Ministry of the Interior during Christmas and explain what it means. Because for example, we had someone contacted us like a week ago saying, okay, I kind of need to start working on my application now because it expires at the end of December. And I was like, okay, you know that the ministry closes on the 22nd, so you don't really have that much time. So this is how it is. So generally speaking, the ministry is open the standard hours this week, so until Friday, but obviously Fridays are generally only for appointed clients and only for limited opening hours, but technically it's still fine. And Monday should still be standard operation opening time. So technically the last day when you can still reasonably do something is next Monday. But I would probably not really rely on that unless you're ready to spend like 6 hours waiting there or whatever, because it's the last day before Christmas. So I expected all the branches to be packed and like full of people. So maybe everyone's like doing everything in advance, but from what I've seen in the last 13 years, that's not always the case. So very likely there will be long lines at the ministry. So if you can do whatever you need to do this week, do it this week. Then during Christmas holidays, or maybe before I get to the actual opening hours, let me say that this is primarily important for those of you who must submit your applications in person, which generally applies to switching from a visa to a residence permit. So if you have a business visa and you want to apply for a business residence permit, or you have a student visa, just sticker in your passport, and you want to apply for a student residence permit, that must be submitted in person. So you need to be very careful about these opening hours. The same applies to some types of applications. For example, also if you're changing the purpose of your stay, so you have a business residence permit and you want to switch to an employee card, for example, you also must submit the application in person. Or if you apply for a permanent residence permit, you also need to submit the application in person. Or if you are submitting your first application, for example, the partnership visa, that must be done in person. So you always need to make sure that the ministry is open and you can go submit the application in person. Some applications can be just mailed to the ministry, but that generally applies only to extensions. So if you have an employee card and you want to extend it for another 2 years, you can do it. If you have a residence permit, like business residence permit, student residence permit, you want to extend it for another 2 years, you can just mail it to the Ministry of the Interior. But even with that, if you can mail it, ideally, the applications should be delivered to the ministry before your current visa or your current residence permit expires. So you need to be careful there as well, because the post office will also not be working normally during holidays. So ideally do everything this week, not to risk any potential like deportation or anything, because saying you are closed during holidays is not really a reason to not deport you from the country if you've overstayed your visa and you didn't apply for extension or didn't apply for the residence permit or whatever. So don't risk it, submit your application this week and you'll be fine. So now the actual opening hours. Of course, you can find it on the website of the Ministry of the Interior, on the integrated portal for foreigners, the IPC. But when we're already here, let me tell you. So again, Monday next week, still normal opening hours. 23rd will be only open for appointed clients, which means that not that you call them today asking if you can come on the 23rd. You can try, but very likely that will not work. But if you already have, for example, the biometrics appointment scheduled, then you can go obviously to do the biometrics. So if you've been scheduled for 23rd you can go, but if you haven't, then you cannot go. Then 24th to 28th will be completely closed, all the branches. 29, 23rd, 29, 23rd, 29, 30, 31st will be only for clients with appointment. So the same system, not that you can just go and or call them and get an appointment now, but if you already have an appointment scheduled for these dates, you're good. And some of the branches will be open 8 to 12 on the 29th and 30th for these 4 hours, but only for emergency situations. So yeah, okay, if your visa expires on the 31st, okay, go and try. But then it will be kind of up to the ministry first, up to the lines, how many people are there, and if you even get seen that day. And it will be also up to the person who will be dealing with you if they will see your situation as emergency or not. So I would definitely not risk it. And it would be primarily for situations like you get hit by a tram today and you cannot really go, physically you cannot move until the 29th. Okay, then go, and that will be very likely classified as emergency. But if you just say, hey, yeah, I know, I don't have all the documents yet, so I will leave it for later. Whenever my landlord gives me the proof of accommodation, I'll book an appointment. Probably that will not be seen as emergency. So definitely I would not recommend counting with these times at all. Then on the 1st it will be closed because it's public holiday. 2nd will be also only for appointed clients, so basically closed. And then the next working day will be 5th of January. So basically from the 23rd of December until 5th of January, you will not reasonably be able to do anything. So do it this week. Latest Monday next week if you couldn't do it this week, but then you need to be ready to wait for a long time. That's kind of it. If you need any assistance with these urgent matters, get in touch. We'll only charge you 50% more for the urgency, but we'll be happy to help. Yeah, but otherwise, if you have no other choice. If your visa or residence permit expires at the end of the month and you haven't done anything, or before, say, the 6th of January, you have to do it now. If your visa expires January end or February end, whatever, you're fine. But yeah, let's see if we have any questions related to this topic. And it's been a long time. I guess so, yes. I'm a student in Lithuania. My girlfriend lives in Olomouc. What should I do? Go to my channel and look for partnership visa. I explain everything there. If she's Czech, I mean, not only that she lives in Olomouc, but she's from Olomouc. Is it possible to get an embassy appointment email in New Delhi? For New Delhi, ideally follow the advice on their website. And how am I doing? Any advice for people in their 20s? Okay. So that's it, guys, for today. You don't have any questions related to this topic, so I will be going now to the joiners section and I will be doing another live Q&As there. So if you have any questions you would like me to answer that are not related to the opening times of the Ministry of the Interior, I will be going live now in the joiners section. So join me there and I will see you again Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world.